All right, guys, we are live. This is the reality of what we are, guys. We are at best, 8-8 team, and we're probably going to end up with a losing record this season. This is amazing it's honestly amazing to see. It is one of the more disappointing seasons maybe ever as a Brown. I mean, even the 0-16 wasn't even that. We knew we didn't have any talent. We knew we weren't that good. This is now embarrassing on a lot of levels. You saw Jarvis Landry visibly frustrated with Freddie Kitchens. You saw Odell visibly frustrated, not into it. I felt like Baker wasn't really into the game either. It didn't even look like they cared that they were there. It was like, we're out of the playoffs. We don't even care. And
well, I think we got off to a rough start. I mean, we let him go right down the field and score. That's dejecting.
Yep.
You get the ball back. You have a decent drive, and then you throw a horrible interception. So, I mean, the wind comes right out of your sails. I mean, they managed to crawl back into the game with the touchdown after the half, but you just got the feeling, like you said, that they just didn't have it from the play calling to the defense breaks. They made, you can't give up big plays. So what do? They give up big plays, one after another on that opening drive. It was really depressing. You were thinking, well, if this is what they're going to do on the opening drive, you can imagine what the rest of the game is going to be like. I mean, it was just, it was just horrible.
It was horrible on all aspects. We made a very bad. We made a 3-8-1 team look like a playoff team. We made Kenyon Drake look like, I mean, just Jim Brown.
Yeah.
We made an average team look amazing. Our team didn't come out playing. I think when Baker threw the interception on the opening drive going down them, they just quit.
Right.
Other than Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb played very hard all game. Our wide receivers, who have painted us, and the media has painted us as the identities of our team of the wide receivers, have not stepped up and done it for us. They've made it very difficult for Baker. Baker didn't have a good game again, and it makes me scratch my head. To me, have we broken Baker?
No, I think he's pretty residual. But when you're head coach and you are not on the same page, and your two wide receivers, and your defense isn't hanging, they give him a turnover to get him right back in the game with that interception, great interception, and they get 3 points. The shovel pass on third down, and they have to settle for a field goal. I mean, the other surprising thing that they said at the end of the game was we're still not out of it. I mean, 8-8 might, there's something to play for in the last game, which I thought if we lose, it's over tonight. So, but I guess not.
I mean,
hanging out by
I laughed. I'm sitting in my hotel room when they said that we are technically still not eliminated for the playoffs. I laughed so loud that I was like, I think I shook the room for them to think that we are still in this, or have a potential to still be in this at 8-8. We're not even gonna. I mean, the reality is we're not going 8-8. Baltimore's gonna kill us next week, and I wouldn't be surprised if we quit and don't show up against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. We could end up losing the last 3 games of the season.
Sure. If we get really shellacked by Baltimore, then it's a question of, why even put your starters in against Cincinnati? I mean, let the scrubs play the last game, and that's it. You can't save Freddie's head coaching job, and it won't lose it for him. He's already either lost it now, or he's going to come back, one or the other. It's not going to, unless he gets totally embarrassed. or he plays the starters against Cincinnati and gets totally embarrassed. I mean, this was a horrible loss. I mean, we were behind from the very first play of the game, and I hate watching those games. I really, really, there's nothing worse other than blowing a big lead, playing conservative, playing prevent. We were back to having the safety 30 yards down in the middle of the field, playing nobody, just trying to prevent a long touchdown. I mean, where was the blitz? Where
I don't know. That's what I tweeted out. Steve Wilks is terrible. Steve Wilks, we have played against rookie backup quarterbacks for like half the damn season. He doesn't blitz. He puts no pressure on the quarterback. Even the one play, there was at least one play where he did put pressure on him, and it forced Kyler Murray to kind of throw it away or at the feet of his wide receiver who was going out of bounds. This is the problem. Steve Wilks has hamstrung us because, as we can see, we have the athletes: Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Schobert, Mac Wilson, who had a good game with that interception today. I mean, he's making us a worse team. Greg Williams' defense would have put a lot more pressure on these guys, and the opposing team. So I wrote it, I tweeted it out a little bit ago, and I really think this game, if you're looking at the body of work that Freddie Kitchens and his staff has put together, this is the game that you can really point to and say, look, Freddie, you were technically still pretty viable at this point, and to lose in Pittsburgh to a rookie quarterback without their best wide receiver, without their best running back, to lose to this Arizona Cardinals team, which is they're an upstart rebuilding team.
They lost 6 in a row. They lost 6 in a row before they played us, and we couldn't.
We're one of the most disappointing, if not the most disappointing team in the NFL this year.
Right.
We had underproduced for the type of talent that we have. And you know what? I don't really care about the excuses. We had for a guy like Myles Garrett to swing a helmet at a backup quarterback with the game well in hand, a team that we hadn't beaten in home in a very long time, just goes to show that he's not afraid of Freddie Kitchens at all. Jarvis Landry walking off the field, yelling, I retweeted it, yelling at Freddie Kitchens. When I saw that, I tweeted immediately that Jarvis does not respect Freddie Kitchens. There's Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. These aren't guys that have star players walking off the field yelling at them, unless you're maybe Tom Brady, and that's extremely rare. And even Brady knows not to do that to the head coach. It's embarrassing.
Well, he's a young coach. He didn't have the experience. He tried to do too much. I mean, you probably could write a book about the things that Freddie Kitchens will learn from this season, whether he's with the Browns next year or not. But to do things the way he did them, and he doesn't have the command respect of Belichick and those other guys, so he had to earn it through winning and cajoling, and he didn't win, and the cajoling didn't work.
Right.
And the play calling, what did they got? They kicked off, and the Browns got it, I think, on the 25-yard line at one series in the second half.
Yep.
And I think it was right after the second half. I think it was the starting drive in the second half, and they got called for delay of game.
Yeah, we had a delay of game.
How do you not have a play where you have an entire half to get ready for, and then you come out on the field, you got 25 to 30 seconds, and you cannot either get the personnel on the field or call the play fast enough so that you have to take a 5-yard penalty. Yeah. That is the epitome of our team.
Yeah, it's embarrassing to see that. I sat there and I'm like, oh yeah, it's 1st and 10. It's a 5 more penalty. Yeah, we won't need those 5 yards to get going. I mean, it's crazy. We do this to ourselves nonstop.
Right.
That we continue. We're at this point in the season, we're still beating ourselves. I will tell you though, the one thing, it doesn't look like it's penalties anymore. It's purely execution.
Yeah.
It's execution on offense and defense.
Odell dropped a couple passes early in the game. He had one that right in his hands he dropped. Late in the game, he had one hit him in the hands and he dropped it. Landry was a non-factor the entire game.
Yeah.
They got Hunt involved here and there, but it was too little too late by that point.
It's the problem is we are a running team. And then you get the ball and you don't run it. And you if you're going to go 2nd and 10 because you throw the first pass and it's incomplete, or worse, he gets sacked, or worse, he throws an interception. It makes it very difficult. We're not a good team on 1st down, and we're not a good team on 3rd down. And this is the worst defense in the league. So if I am John Dorsey and the Haslams, and I'm evaluating Freddie Kitchens, you have to look at it and go, Freddie, this is the worst defense in the league, and you put up 17 points. That is unacceptable. Or no, they scored at the end. What was the final score of that game?
24. They had 24.
Okay. So they scored a garbage touchdown.
That was a garbage touchdown. They missed a field goal at a critical point in the game. Everybody except Chubb let them down.
Yep.
Maybe we punted a few times that were really good. Wilson's interception was a high point.
Yep.
But other than that,
when Mac Wilson had the interception and we didn't score the touchdown, we turned that in. We went 3 and out after that.
Right.
We executed and we got the field goal. That was it. That I noticed we were deflated at that point, and our defense couldn't stop anybody. And I look at it and what am I mean, who's to blame for this? Yes, it's coaching, absolutely. But you have to look at the leaders. You got to look at the leaders that are on the team, and we are being led by guys who are making bad decisions.
And a lot now. What you call it? Jams says, run the ball. He ran 7.5 yards per run, just running the ball. And you can only run the ball so much before they put too many men in the box. But how many times did they have play action running the ball? He was empty backfield. I mean, when they handed it off, they didn't do play action, which then frees up your wide receiver.
There was no play action.
Play calling.
There was
the people going to the wrong side of the field and then having to be told to move over to the other side of the field. It just, the penalties were limited. So, I mean, it just very disappointing.
I mean, at this point, I can tell you that I want Jarvis Landry to come back. I feel like he's a passionate guy and he loves being in Cleveland and he wants to be on this team. I cannot say the same thing for Odell Beckham. I think we all, as Browns fans, wanted Odell Beckham to love Cleveland like Jarvis Landry did, but I don't think that's the case. I could see Odell. I could see us dealing him. I could see us. And the other thing, David Njoku was a healthy scratch today. Right, another guy, just a healthy scratch. Dad, we lost your audio. Yep, I don't know what happened, but we lost your audio. I don't know, guys. I think that the fact that David Njoku was out, and then Ricky Seals has another one of these goddamn plays where he catches the ball and then it's either knocked out or it's not knocked out or it's an interception or it's a fumble. It's absolute garbage. It's garbage, and it's frustrating to watch it. It's frustrating all parts of it. And Dad, why don't I do this? I'm gonna end the call and then I'll call you right back because there's definitely something wrong with the audio on your part. And guys, just bear with me for a second. Let me see if I can get that back in there. It's very frustrating, guys. It is very frustrating. Are you back? Yep. Sorry. Your mic is your mic might be mute. You might have hit the mute button on the back of your headset. On the bottom, there's a button that might have hit that muted it. There we go. Got you back.
Okay. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I mean, this has been a very frustrating year. And this has been a very frustrating team to watch. I want to give a shout out to everybody in chat. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. So we got General Pad, Max Nikolenko, Perf Notch, Jackie Haynes, Lynetzers, The Jams, Cool Mania, American Saxon, San Juan Creole, CH, William Jackson, Paul Estells, Lewis Hill.
Somebody said that on Twitter that they didn't like the way Njoku was blocking, and therefore that was the reason they didn't put him in. It wasn't his catching or his physical ability.
Well, that says a lot then
had something to do with blocking.
That says a lot if you're a guy who's a first round draft pick and you've been injured all year and you finally get to come back and you're not blocking well and you're a healthy scratch. That says a lot about the direction that we're going to go with David Njoku. Now, I honestly believe that we're going to lose next week, and so we'll go 6 and it'll be 6 and 8 at that point. Yeah.
Right.
And then there's a good chance that we're going to lose to Cincinnati, but let's just say we happen to beat Cincinnati and go. That's 7 and 9 for this, 7 and 9 for the season.
Right, 7 and 9. Yeah, if we lose next week, we go to 9.
Okay, so
we have to win next week to go 8 and 8.
8 and 8. Okay, so 7 and 9, we end up the season, which is a game worse than last year, because we had the tie. So we were 7, 8 and 1 last year. So we have gotten worse than we did last year. And I really, and I know that there's some internal conflict right now. It's been reported between Dorsey and Haslam's. Who knows if that's true or not? But if I guess I'd have to, if I'm talking to Dorsey, I guess I'd have to ask him, guys, or John, like, what do you see in Freddie Kitchens that leads you to believe that he has the ability to change? He has the ability to get better. What do you see there? Because I certainly don't. I think that the games that we've won primarily off the backs of our very athletic players, and we caught some breaks. But the fact that we were so undisciplined this year, the execution has been poor. Baker Mayfield has reverted backwards. He is not progressing forward. The fact that we've added so much talent on offense, yet have gotten worse when it comes to production and worse from the wins lost. Now Nick Chubb's having a great year, and that's awesome. But I think that we are. I guess the question would be to John Dorsey is what is it?
Yeah. Did Higgins play at all?
I didn't see him in. Yeah, I'd have to go into the stats. He definitely didn't.
I don't think he caught a pass. He didn't catch a pass. When they got down to the critical end zone plays, they didn't go to Odell and they didn't go to Landry. They went to Seals twice. They went to the other tight end once, and he almost made the catch. But you're not going to your key players.
Yeah.
And they didn't run the ball in. They tried to pass it in almost every time.
Other than Nick Chubb breaking a 33-yard run. Nick Chubb, 17 carries, 127 yards, averaged 7.5 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. Baker Mayfield was 30 for 43. Dude threw 43 times, most at the end of the. I mean, that last drive, he probably threw at least 10 times that last drive. 247, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Statistically, doesn't look bad. It was bad other than that last drive where the Cardinals just played soft and didn't care. Kareem Hunt, 4 carries, 14 yards, 8 catches, 62 yards. Odell Beckham, 8 catches, 66 yards. Jarvis Landry,
He
5
took a
catches.
shot. He took two shots.
He did. He got
almost
smacked.
scored the touchdown to the 3-yard line. He got smacked pretty good. I thought he was going in, but he doesn't have the weight to carry people into the end zone. And then I thought that guy should have got hit for targeting or hitting a defenseless receiver. There should have been a penalty on that. His head snapped back. He's lucky he got up from that.
Yeah, when I saw that, I
he
said, "Ooh, that wasn't good." And then the Browns went back to him, or Baker went back to him, and he couldn't force his way up the middle. We got for the touchdown, but Alfonso asked, "What do we need in the draft next year? We need offensive line help, and we need a safety." The Jams, we lose more often if Baker throws more than 35 times. That's accurate. Denzel Ward is a bust, says Typical Gamer. I can't say that Denzel Ward's a bust. I think he was injured all year. I think he had the hamstring. He's had an ankle problem.
Yeah.
He's had the concussions. Like Denzel Ward is very good if he's healthy, but he hasn't been healthy. That's it.
Right.
Kenyon Drake made Ward look like a high school kid. They did say that he was being evaluated for an ankle, so it might have been like he shouldn't have been back out there anyway. But if that's the case, then don't go out there. But yeah, Kenyon Drake made him look bad. Typical Gamer, Baker is trash. I'm sorry. He's overthrown consistently. It's ridiculous. I don't think he's trash, guys. I don't think a second-year guy with the amount of talent that Baker has, it is clearly the offensive system. And the fact that his wide receivers are not helping him out. You can't have wide receivers that get paid what they get paid and drop passes that hit them in the bread basket. He dropped it in there. You can't say that that's on Baker Mayfield. He's not trash. He hit him right in the bread basket that turns that opening drive probably into something else. Now, yes, did he come back and miss him?
And we need it.
Yeah, but
we need a tight end. We need a tight end that can play and that can catch.
Yeah. That's what Njoku was supposed to be, but Njoku hasn't turned out to be that either. So maybe add that to the list.
He got hurt, and he's been a fraction of the guy he was before that. He's just not there. Higgins was good, and then he got hurt, and then he has been non-existent.
Yep.
So you double team Landry and Odell, and then you're a mediocre team except for Chubb, and you got Baker playing 50-50. It's just extremely disappointing. I mean, I have very little to look forward to as far as the Baltimore game, other than I hope we don't get embarrassed again. It's a home game. I don't know if they'll get up for it. Who knows? Maybe Freddie could be fired between now and then.
I don't think he's going. I think Dorsey gives him the year, and they reevaluate. I think that's it. And like we've talked about a lot before. Maybe it's if Freddie can get a different offensive coordinator and give up the play calling. Maybe we get a better defensive coordinator. But at the end of the day, you saw it. We saw it with the penalties. We saw it with the decisions that players made on the field. They are not afraid of Freddie Kitchens. They do not respect Freddie Kitchens. And I can see them not wanting to play for Freddie Kitchens. Baker Mayfield and Freddie do not have the same relationship. They're not coming off the field hugging like they did last year. They were hugging coming off the field. You don't even see Baker going over to say anything to Freddie anymore. There's something wrong there. You don't see Baker hanging out with Jarvis and Odell either. There is something wrong.
Losing does that to you. You start feeling sorry for yourself. You start making not so much excuses, but you start doubting whether you can do it or not. You get behind. You have to play catch up.
Yeah.
You start questioning the calls, whether they be offense, whether they be defense.
Well, the funny thing is, but the funny thing about it is, despite all of this, Nick Chubb is having one of the best years that a running back has ever had, at least in the modern era, in the last 30, 40 years.
He's not dependent. Well, I mean, he's dependent on people opening up a little bit of a seam on the line, and then he does the rest in terms of getting through. So he doesn't have to rely on Baker finding him. when he's wide open. The one play where he threw it down and out, I think to Landry, and he almost got it picked off. Odell was open by 10 yards.
When they
and he
showed the
could have
replay, and then they didn't go back to that. And the people were tweeting about that. Mike Ristano was tweeting about that as well. Like he was open by 20 yards, and Baker Baker was rushed out of the. Or I think it was actually a design bootleg, and Baker typically does.
Yeah, it was a design bootleg.
And didn't look up to see Odell wide open down the field.
And he threw it way too early. He didn't have to. That was the thing that was disturbing. I could see if somebody was in his face, he's got to, and maybe Odell didn't make his break. Yeah. But if he had waited like 2 seconds or just stopped because nobody was there, he could have saw him. He would have then had him open by 10 yards. It would have been a 60-yard touchdown.
Yep, and that would have changed the game because that was a big third down that we then punted. So it's and guys, everybody in chat, again, thank you very much. We got a bunch of people in chat right now. I want to say thanks to everybody for joining us for the post game, listening to my dad and I rant about the Browns like we always do. So thank you guys. A lot of the regulars that we see each week, and I appreciate that. Typically we do some giveaways, but when we lose, we usually don't. So we're not going to do any giveaways today. But I do appreciate everybody coming back. I don't know. I think I'm going to watch the press conferences. I'm going to see what Baker says. I'm going to see what Freddie says, and right. I think that I'm going to keep continuing to ignore the Cleveland media, and it's
they're a joke. They have no clue as to what's going on, and they throw softball questions out there. They don't really challenge Freddie or the players. So I mean, all they're going to do is hype it up as to whether Freddie keeps his job or not. And to be honest, it's a discussion that should be had. It's up to Dorsey. I don't think Haslam really will make the call. It'll be totally Dorsey. And then if Kitchens goes, then you got to look for a lot of the other coaches because the coach would like to bring in his own people.
Yeah, the coaching staff's going to change. The coaches bring in. I think that if Mike McCarthy is available and interested in the Browns job, he should get the Browns job without question. I noticed that Urban Meyer was there watching the Redskins, watching his quarterback Dwayne Haskins play. A guy like Urban Meyer, if he wants to come coach in the NFL, again, Urban Meyer's not a guy who's going to say, you know what, I need to call plays and I need to do everything. He's going to be the CEO of the team and and he's going to hire great people to do things if he's interested. But this experiment where we put together a ton of stars, and I gotta admit, the Colin Cowards of the world that we're talking about. All the expectations and all the stars on the team, and then on top of it, the glue that's going to have to keep it together is Freddie Kitchens, a guy that's really never had to do this in his career. They talked about it on the game, how he was with Arizona for so long and never had a chance to even be a coordinator, and the Browns gave him the head coach job. I like Freddie Kitchens as a person. I think he's a great person, and I think he would be a great offensive. He has the potential to be a great offensive coordinator somewhere, but this experiment where giving a first-year head coach this much talent, these many egos, this much just star power, and expect good results at it, it would have been a miracle to have that happen. And Freddie Kitchens just isn't the guy to get it done. So I am completely off the Freddie train. But I don't want him to go. I don't want to let him go and then not have almost a sure thing backing him up. Like an Andy Reid backing him. Andy Reid shows up at a team, and they're a playoff team. They're contending for the title in the conference. Just with him showing up, we need that level of coaching in Cleveland, and that's what it is. So I hope we see it. I don't know. That's my thoughts, guys. I'm super disappointed in the season. It's tough to make hype videos when there's nothing to get hyped about. And, that's
it's overhyped then.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make more hype videos, and the 33-yard run from Nick Chubb is going to make the hype video. I should probably do just a video about Nick Chubb only this year. Because there wasn't a whole lot to be happy about. The defense didn't really do that well. Denzel Ward had one touchdown off an interception. We've rarely created any turnovers. Special teams, other than making field goals from time to time, we didn't really have a single big play returning the ball, either punting or returning. Dontrell Hilliard is the most vanilla, boring return man that I have ever seen the Cleveland Browns put out there. I'd much rather have a guy like Travis Benjamin, like have a wide receiver out there for Christ's sake.
Giuseppe.
Why not have Giuseppe out there? If you're just gonna, if putting Dontrell Hilliard, do nothing Dontrell, he can never make it to the 25-yard line. Even when he receives the ball on the 9-yard line, he can't get to the 25. We're not a threat to break punts, and it's just that's what it is.
Didn't fumble the ball. I give him credit. He did not fumble. I think one opening kickoff or one of those things that we held on to the ball in those situations, getting whacked at 100 miles an hour. It's it's a tough job to run back kicks. That's why your stars don't do it. You put your backups in there. But you got to put somebody with some speed in there.
Yeah, the basis for it is he didn't screw up.
Right.
Okay. And that's fine. And the Jam says bring back Sheehy. Honestly, at this point, why not? What's the difference? Let's do something.
Watch him light up the XFL. Watch him light that up.
When Sheehy was there,
only takes 100-yard run back to light people up.
Yeah, when Sheehy was there in the preseason, our team had an identity. Our team was on fire. We were lighting people up in the preseason when we had our stars playing. We were walking down the field scoring, and Sheehy was out there, and everybody was excited. They cut Sheehy, and then the team just. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a direct correlation, but I can tell you that the team wanted Sheehy out there, and some of the guys that we ended up with. That are on the team that are doing nothing. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Throw Sheehy back there. What's the difference? You're gonna have a losing record anyway. Yeah, guys. You know what? This has been a very difficult year. I remember the first game, the Tennessee game, how excited I was to wake up that morning and finally see it was like Christmas morning for me. Waking up, watching that, and never did I think that we were going to end up this year. I would have bet my house that we would have won 10 games this year. And the fact that we may not even win 7 it's a very real possibility that we might not win 7 games.
Right.
It's just disappointing. And McNeil, the ref log, he tweeted out a picture of a Browns fan with a sign that said "We deserve better," and I think we deserve better, guys. I think we all do. We're a very passionate fan base. Everywhere I go, when I wear Brown stuff, whether it's in other cities not in Cleveland, whether it's on airplanes, I'm constantly seeing people and talking about the Browns. There's so much love for the team, and it's constant disappointment, and it's really sad to see. And unfortunately, there's going to be people that are going to lose their jobs over these things. And I think Freddie is most likely going to lose his job. And if Freddie Kitchens doesn't lose his job, then you've already noticed the patience that the fans have are very low. It's very similar to Hugh Jackson. The fans were just sick of the guy. And I think that's
they're sick of losing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They believe the hype. We had the talent. We had the you might say the play calling originality, but it at times it wasn't used right. We got away from the running game. We win the last 2 games and everybody's happy as a clam. We lose the last 2 games and everybody is just it just ruined the soft part of the
Honestly,
season.
if we lose, if we end up beating the Ravens and beating Cincinnati, which we definitely can beat Cincinnati, but if we end up losing to the Ravens or beating the Ravens, then it's just another example. The Ravens are probably going to win the Super Bowl this year. Everybody's going to have to admit that to themselves at some point. The Ravens are that good. They are. The NFL has not figured them out. Lamar Jackson is having one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. He is the MVP this year. There is no doubt about that. So if we end up
I just hope they
beating the
can keep
Ravens,
giving him the ball so he wins the title.
if we beat the Ravens, it will be another example of the waste of the what if with this season with the Browns.
Right.
And that's sad. I mean, it's so sad. That
And we're not the only team. Look at the LA Chargers laid a bomb today. The LA Rams laid a bomb today. They're both were in contention. The Titans laid a bomb today. They were, could have solidified things. So I mean, we're not the only team that just went out there and lost. The Giants were on the verge of losing to the Dolphins. I think Manning threw 3 interceptions. He was trying to lose the game, but he made a couple of nice plays too to save it. And the Giants actually
won. Is Daniel Jones hurt? Is that why Manning's back in?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's hurt. I think he's ready to come back maybe next week. It'll be interesting to see whether they play him next week or not. I don't know who the Giants play. It's not obviously meaningful for them, but it could be for the Cowboys or for the Eagles, who won today. They found a way to win. Tampa Bay found a way to win today. So there are teams that, the Raiders laid a bomb. They let Jacksonville, I think, score at the end, and they lost the game. So there's a lot of disappointed fans out there across the NFL. Obviously, 8 teams win each week and 8 teams lose. Mm-hmm. But, for us, with the talent that we have, that's the biggest disappointment, that we just didn't live up to not so much the hype, but the ability to really play competitively, keep ourselves in it, make it to the playoffs, and then see what happens then. But we couldn't do it.
The Jam saying hopefully they start RG3 against us. I mean, honestly, that'd be poetic if they started RG3 against us and we still lost to RG3.
Oh yeah, talk about payback.
And he's gonna want it. He would, but no, I think Lamar Jackson plays. And you know what, Lamar Jackson's having a great year. It pains me to say that. Out of the rivalries we have in the AFC North, I don't like the Steelers, but I respect them as an opponent and I respect them as a rivalry. I despise the Ravens. The Ravens stole the Browns from me when I was 15 years old, and I'll never forget that. And they didn't really
steal them as much as Modell just couldn't negotiate a new stadium and decided, I'll just leave. I don't think he realized how vilified he would be. But any team that leaves, when Baltimore left Baltimore, they snuck out in the middle of the night. The St. Louis Cardinals left. I mean, when teams leave a team that, they bled for their teams. And obviously they would, if a better product was on the field, and the Browns were on the verge of getting that better product on the field, but Modell wanted a new stadium, and he deserved a new stadium. I mean, he let the local Cleveland people talk him out of it and refused to do it. And then he decided, the hell with you, I'm going to leave. Yeah. So the blame goes, should be shared by a lot of people as a result of the Browns. The one good thing is we didn't lose our colors and our records.
They're probably going to win their 3rd Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're going to win their 3rd Super Bowl, most likely this year.
And that's coaching. Ozzie Newsome has done a tremendous job with that team. Yep. Why didn't we keep him? I mean.
Well, because he wanted to go with Modell. He was Modell's guy.
Well, he wanted a job. He had a job. He wanted a job. Yeah, there was no job in Cleveland.
We went with Carmen Policy and a bunch of other flunkies who just destroyed us for decades. But you know
Right.
what? It's on us. It's on us with bad coaching decisions, with bad if you go back through the drafts, it's awful. There was just a report that Clinton Portis, the old running back from I guess he was on the
Yeah.
Redskins and the Broncos, is going to be arrested for tax evasion. And I think back to the Clinton Portis 2002 draft where we had Butch Davis take William Green. Instead of his own guy from the University of Miami, Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis goes on to potentially have a Hall of Fame type career, and we take William.
Well, now he's going to jail. They got him also for fraud against the Medicare and putting things in on disability claims.
The fraud on that.
Yeah, and him and a bunch of other players too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Joe
it's not
Horn
just
was
him.
another guy in there.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. I'm a bit perplexed right now. I don't know what the answer is. But if you're asking me, just based off the smell test, obviously we don't have any type of insider information. I'm not talking to the players. I'm not talking to the coach. I'm just looking at what I see on the field. And what I see is a team that doesn't respect the head coach, a team that has failed to live up to expectations, a team with a ton of talent that just flushed it down the toilet this year and lost to inferior teams in a very bad way, and then also lost to superior teams, getting beat very badly by San Francisco, getting beaten by the Patriots. I mean, we can all forgive the Browns for that, but losing to the Arizona Cardinals, losing to the Broncos,
the Titans.
The Titans game. I mean, the Titans are a decent team, but the way that we just got embarrassed by them. And we thought we were going to come out and teams are just going to fall over and give us wins. Yeah. And we actually have to go out and fight for them. And I think I look at it and I hope that the relationship can be salvaged between Baker, Odell, and Jarvis.
Baker and Odell were talking on the bench at the end, sort of commiserating, and Landry, I think, was just upset with the play calling, upset.
I think he was upset that we didn't go for it on fourth down.
Well, yeah, that could have been it too. And why do you throw it down and out to the? Not so much. It was in the backfield where he hit Landry with the pass, or he hit Odell with the pass. So he's got to not only catch the ball, but then he's got to fight that extra 4 or 5 yards. Why not just throw a simple over the middle? Turn around, just like they caught the touchdown pass. Just turn around and catch the ball for 3 yards, and you got a first down. We got to try to something on the side.
Well, when we threw it, Jarvis couldn't get. It was to Jarvis. He couldn't get the first down. They called him off the field. In that case, I don't disagree with Freddie's decision on that case to kick a field goal. It would have made it a 1-score game. Would have been down 8 points. That's a 1-score game. So that's not the wrong decision in that case. It's a frustrating decision, but it's not the wrong one. And then we didn't.
Only if you missed the field goal.
And then we missed the field goal.
Which we did.
Right, but I mean that you can't. You have to. It's you have to assume it's like blackjack. You have to assume that the dealer's got. If he's showing a face card, he's got another face card underneath the cards too. So in that case, you assume your kicker, who's been very. They were even saying it. They're like, he hasn't missed anything other than kicking towards the dog pound all year, and then he ends up.
And then he misses. Yeah, they jinxed him pretty well. So it's a shame. I wouldn't want to be on that plane riding back for a couple of hours with those guys. It's going to be like a morgue, all bitching and moaning in their heads. How do you, tomorrow's an off day. How do you get yourself up to come in on Tuesday to start working on Baltimore?
Yeah. When you got nothing, you got nothing to play for. Other than showing up to hopefully keep your job next year for any of the players that are on the bubble, the star players. If I'm the Browns, I'm going to show up for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is having one of the best years a running back has had. They were showing it since like Leroy Kelly with the Browns in the '60s.
With a very average line in front of him. Yeah. Imagine if he had a decent line like Dallas in front of him.
Oh, God. Mackerel. If you gave him Dallas's line and you allowed him to do that. But, again, it doesn't – I mean, the plays that he made those plays despite the play calling. He made them with his athletic ability, not with scheming.
Well,
And
those are great running backs. They make cuts. Look how many people hit him um, before he made his long runs. He took shots. He shred tacklers. Um, he's probably got to be the best back after getting hit in terms of yardage
yep.
in the league.
Oh, he
And so
is.
I just
He
hope
is.
he gets recognized. I hope they can give him the ball.
I
Um,
hope they pay him too. I hope,
yeah,
when
right.
it comes time to pay a running back, you got to pay Nick Chubb, and you have to pay Nick Chubb, and you probably have to pay Kareem Hunt because Kareem Hunt is so damn good. You can't, and he's not being underutilized, but I think it's another thing. There's so many mouths to feed, right? And if you ask me, who do I want, OBJ or Nick Chubb? I'll take Nick Chubb all day and twice on Sunday. And
Sure.
you say, OBJ, go play for Tom Brady, the guy that you want to give your cleats to after the game. Go play for Tom Brady then. Go do something else. Because you're dropping passes, you're drive killing passes. OBJ has, and I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. He's looked like Greg Little. He's looked like at times Kenny Britt. Um, he's just looked mediocre, and maybe
Yeah,
maybe it's because he
and
was
it's
hurt. Maybe it's because he's been
uh,
hurt with that sport or hernia. I don't know, but sports hernias don't make you drop passes
right.
that hit you in the
and
hands.
and he wasn't double teamed. If you look at the game, I could see it if he was double teamed, but he wasn't. And part of it is Baker on Baker too. Baker's just making poor decisions about who to go to first, who to go to second, get off of that first read, and what a difference last year was between this year. Just confident in his throwing ability, confident in his passing,
Yeah,
a good line protecting him, and
yeah.
all that has sort of disappeared in the
It's
second half of the
shocking
year.
that you took. I mean, because really we had Greg Robinson that was protecting him on the left side, but you had Kevin Zeitler, J.C. Treader, and Joel Bitonio. We need to go out there and buy another Kevin Zeitler, and we need to buy a left tackle
Right.
because I don't think we can afford. I think we should draft offensive line, right? Draft off, but you got to draft somebody that you can plug in immediately. We can't have a project. Greg Robinson was a project.
Right.
He is. When I say Greg Robinson, I gotta look back. I don't want to be misquoted on this, but Greg Robinson, he wasn't a highly drafted guy. He was just a guy that we plugged in there, and he's been mediocre and been at best and been terrible, at worst. We got to get rid of
Yeah.
him. We got to
Baker
rebuild that
Baker
line.
almost got killed today by one of their pass
Yeah,
rushers.
that
They
was
put a
that was the tight end who just decided not
yeah.
to block. Now I don't know if that was a design to because it looked like he was waiting for Baker to throw him the ball, but he
Right. It would have been great,
I
but
mean it was
he wasn't.
blind, but that's his blind side.
Right.
You
Yeah. He got
cannot.
killed on that. He's lucky he held on to the ball because that guy had a flying shot at
Oh,
him.
and his neck snapped back like it was like he's had whiplash. I mean
Right.
it's bad. I'm surprised Baker didn't get killed this year, and it's due to the offensive line. I think if you look at Treader and Bitonio are the center and guards are not pass protecting offensive linemen. They're whole opening offensive linemen. These are the guys that pull for running plays. So Joel Bitonio, and he played well today, and Treader played well. These are guys that open up holes for Nick Chubb. So those are the guys who do it. The tackles are the terrible ones. These are the guys that are getting them killed. The pocket's collapsing instantly. Baker does not have time. Kyler Murray sat back there 5-6 yards and just dump passes off. Mac
Right.
Wilson made a very athletic interception, but Kyler Murray sat back there and established himself as a threat to run. So he had all day, and then he just dumped the ball off to Larry Fitzgerald or whomever he wanted. And then also by doing that, Kenyon Drake runs for 1 billion touchdowns. So guys, it's just bad. This is what it is to be a Browns fan, and we deserve better. We've been through too much to have another losing season, and I don't think that usually teams that have first-year head coaches that disappoint, If you look at Jimmy Johnson, what if the Dallas Cowboys would have fired Jimmy Johnson? Or Tom Landry, who goes 1-15 his first year. Chuck Noll wins one game his first year. What if those teams would have dumped their head coach? Freddie Kitchens is not a Hall of Fame caliber coach. He's not. And I think that he's somebody that Dorsey can control, and he's who Dorsey wants to keep. But ultimately, the decision has to be made, and Dorsey's got to come to reality. Looking at the body of work that Freddie has put together this year, the rumor was he has to win 9 games. He does not have a path to 9 games now, and we shall see what happens. I think we're going to win 7, and I think that is really, really disappointing and sad for us as Browns fans. All right, guys. We've been at it for 50 minutes.
Hour. Yeah.
I want to say thank you to everybody who's been in chat. I have been reading your chat the entire time. You've kept me entertained.
Me too. I've been reading them.
I'm reading your chats, guys, just so you know. And when you mention me, I try to get to your comments when you mention Brownie Postgame, like Jams has done some of the other guys. So if you want to reach out and say something that you want me to respond to, feel free to do that. But yeah, guys, I appreciate. We definitely appreciate the growth this year. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We do a whole bunch of we do hype videos. You get obviously the banter back and forth pre and post game with my dad and myself and all that good stuff. So if you're not subscribed, definitely click the subscribe button right now. Also click the notification so when we go live, you can join us live. We typically do giveaways. I happen to be traveling. I'm in North Carolina right now, so I happen to be traveling. So no giveaways this week. But yeah, we typically do that. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for helping us grow the channel this year. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know, Dad, what do you think? Has this season been entertaining from a communicating and growing this channel perspective?
Yeah, it's definitely better than an 0-16 season where all you're trying to do is win one game, and you don't have the talent, you don't have the ability to even sniff the playoffs. It was so encouraging to see Baker come in last year and get Landry and get Chubb and make some of the plays that we made last year and whatnot, and say, oh God, it's really going to be great this year. And I've looked forward to every game. I haven't been, crying on my beer before every game, other than, being overexcited, overconfident that we're going to win. Like today, I thought we were going to win. I thought we'd win the Denver game. I thought we'd win the Titans game. I thought we'd win the second Steelers game. I mean, and those tend to be very disappointing because you get yourself so up for it. Yeah. But I haven't, this is the worst. This is the lowest that I've felt through the entire season, losing this game after the loss last week, and then having nothing really to get excited about in playing the Ravens or the Cincinnati. It's just why don't we just end the season, mail it in, and let's move on to the draft, that type of thing.
Agreed. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification. Follow me and my dad. You got us. You got our Twitter handles up there. We talk about the Browns pretty much exclusively on Twitter. So we will see you next week for the Ravens and see if we can salvage an 8-8 season. Woo!
Right.
All right. Go Browns.
Go Brownies.